Hello everybody, I'm Scott Poynton and welcome to another Cooee podcast. I recently travelled to the US Southeast where I met with forest industry people who work for or who are linked to TFT member Enviva. Enviva is the world's largest manufacturer of wood pellets. It's not without controversy. NGOs are concerned for the biodiversity of the southeastern forests, one of the world's major wood baskets. NGOs often paint brands like Enviva as villains, and yet the people who work for those brands are, from my experience, just like you and me, and more often than not, just like the people who work for the NGOs. They have the same hopes, the same aspirations, and often even the same fears. There is a rich potential for common ground and common understanding if we could just sit down and listen to each other. In this podcast, we hear from Phil Bain, a landowner and a forest steward. Today, I'm talking to you from Ivor in Virginia, and I'm with Phil Bain. Phil is a landowner, a forest owner. He's also managing partner of TL Bain Limited Partnership. Good morning to you, Phil.
Good morning.
Yeah, so thanks for talking to us today, and really interested to hear about your family's history in the region here. It sounds like you've been here a long, long time. Tell us about your family.
Well, you're correct. My family has been in this area for generations. My family was in the peanut business initially. I guess I'm the generation that took us or has ceased the peanut operation. My great-great-grandfather ran a general store, bought peanuts from local farmers, and on a very small scale shelled and cooked and sold those peanuts. Then my great-grandfather took over that business and grew it tremendously. He had mills in the Carolinas, Oklahoma, Texas, Virginia, and grew quite a peanut business. It was called the American Peanut Company and then the Bain Peanut Company. My great-great-uncle is the one that I can give the credit for the forestry industry to. He ran a general store here in Ivor. He worked with the farmers. His brother, who was my great-grandfather, and my other great-great-uncle, they were in the peanut business, but TL, Thomas Lemuel Bain, was here in Ivor, ran a general store, sold merchandise to the farmers, and bought farms. He was never married, single, had no children. And for that reason alone, some of the ownership that he had in these farms filtered down to my sister and myself. We inherited it. Had he been married and have children, I wouldn't be in this situation.
Yeah. When was this, mate? Late 1800s?
Yes, late 1800s. He died in the 1930s.
Mm-hmm. Set up his business. So moved away from the peanut farming, did he, or with the store? Or?
Well, we call it sharecrop the farms. He had tenant farmers. They would work the farms. They'd split the cost half-half. He would supply the land. The farmers would supply the labor, and then they'd split the crop half-half. All the farms around here virtually all the farms have a timber component.
Yes.
He recognized even back in that day the value of timber. I can remember my father telling me that if people would come in and ask him if they could go cut firewood, he would always tell them, that's fine, you can have the firewood, just don't cut any pine trees.
Right. And that's where he was making his money from?
He could recognize the value of those pines even back in that day.
How many acres overall were in the holdings?
The inheritance went to other family members. At that time, it was right at 10,000 acres. That's a cropland and timberland combined. We had a division among the family and divided up. We got approximately 6,500 acres. Let's say we, being my immediate family, we had the largest interest. And since that time, we've been fortunate enough to add on to that, and we're back to a little over 9,000 acres now.
Okay. And how often does the forest get harvested? I mean, I understand that people use the forest in times of need. You know, we were just talking earlier about an old lady who needed to get an operation and harvested the forest so she could pay for that. Is it something, I imagine it's not always the case, people harvest it more regularly? I mean, how often do you think the forest that you guys hold, how many times has it been harvested, do you reckon, over the last hundreds of years?
That's a tough question, because back before the 1970s, 80s, there were really no records kept.
Right.
Now, as far as timber harvest, replanting, the silvicultural activities, now we keep very specific records on that. So that's tough to say. The timber at that time was held until it was saw timber. When I say saw timber, meaning harvested for lumber production,
right,
as opposed to fiber. And I would say it was harvested once a generation, every 50 to even 60 years.
Yeah.
Very mature timber.
And the forest you got now, was it due for coming up for harvest again? I guess every block is a bit different.
It is, according to how it's managed. It's funny how things have gone full circle. They're on these farms, they're old sawdust piles where mobile mills back in the early 1900s were taken out into the woods. Much of the skidding was done with mules. The lumber was sawed in the woods.
Sawn on the spot, yeah.
That all changed. Logs were loaded on trucks. And here in the last, I guess, 15 to 20 years, modern chippers have come on the scene, and some of the milling, the chipping is done in the woods once again. To more specifically answer your question, we manage tracts differently. Some tracts are managed for fiber production, and we have a 15 to 20 year rotation on those tracts.
Are these plantations more?
They are pine plantation predominantly, entirely. We don't plant any hardwood. The pricing difference on pine and hardwood, and the slower growth on hardwood, just the return on investment is just not there for hardwood production. Some tracts are still managed for lumber production, for saw timber. With that, we're doing thinnings and other things to promote that growth into saw timber. It appears that things are moving in the direction of fiber, and we have concerns if saw timber will be a viable crop to grow here.
Is that right? You think it's going so far towards fiber?
It is. The return, the pricing, you just don't get the additional pricing for saw timber over pulp that you once did to justify growing that saw timber.
That's interesting. Yeah, I didn't know that. Well, tell us a bit more about yourself. And you mentioned earlier that, we talked a little bit about your family, but I think you mentioned that your mother's maiden name was Barlow. Was it your mother? And so you're from the first settlers here. And tell me more about your personal background.
Well, yeah, you're correct. The Barlow family, they are a farming family. My grandfather farmed and was able to purchase a farm, raise 5 children on that farm. And back in that day, you could actually buy land with the farming operation. That's if not impossible, that's difficult to do now. Things were very different back then. He did farm with horses and mules.
Right. Bit different today.
Very different now with $250,000 tractors and equipment. But the Barlows, they're able to trace their roots back to the first settlers at Jamestown. They are some of my uncles and aunts are members of the Jamestown Society. And that is a group or organization that can trace their roots back to Jamestown. I haven't joined that, but I think it's more of a social thing, but that is on my to-do list.
Yeah, and what do you do with your day, mate? I mean, what's your business?
I guess I wear many hats, but forestry hat is probably the one I wear most frequently, or maybe I would say is the most important. We used to, back in late 1990s, we were still sharecropping with farmers. We have changed now and gone entirely to cash rent for the production farmers with the cropland, which frees up more of our time here. There was extensive record keeping, bookkeeping with the tenant farm sharecropping. Back when the real estate market or housing market was better, we did do some real estate development, creating housing lots on some of the farms that lend themselves to that. In a rural area, there's no public water or sewer, so soil percolation was a key ingredient in that. Housing market has slowed tremendously especially in this area, so that doesn't take as much of my time. Outdoor recreation has become more of a active role here. We have hunting that we have lease agreements with hunt clubs. Horseback riding, we have an honor system. People bring their own horses, have a little drop box, and they put a waiver and a deposit in the box. And
they go riding on the land.
Go riding on the land.
Yeah.
Some of the cropland that is not farmed, we have enrolled it in some of the Conservation Reserve Program, CRP program, and we actively manage that. It's not true farming. We never have to pick a crop, but it is maintenance involved in that CRP.
What does that involve, mate? Does it involve allowing the land to go back to forest, or what does the CRP involve?
Predominantly, we have two types of CRP. Both of them are waterway buffers. Either we have wooded buffers or forested buffers, or warm season grass, switchgrass, big blue stem, various grasses that we plant on agricultural land that is adjacent to hydric soil. Right. Any runoff that comes from the field is filtered either in that grass or that forested buffer, and that's what we're managing. And if you don't manage it and either burn or mow it every year, with the climate we have here, it quickly sprouts up in undesirable sweet gum and other species that it quickly isn't grass anymore.
Yeah, it comes back to forest pretty quick. Right. Everything grows like crazy down here, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah,
We're blessed
with the rainfall and the sunshine and good soils.
That's right.
Yeah, and okay, so what about yourself? Tell me about your family. I mean, you've got kids and...
I have one daughter,
yeah.
And she is in Northern Virginia. She's a city gal and doesn't care for the country lifestyle. I have two nephews and one niece. They live on the western side of the state. And I guess that is one of my large concerns. Does any of my family members have the interest or the desire to be actively involved in this business, or even continue ownership in this business and allow someone else to manage it if they feel they can get a better return on their investment elsewhere.
Doing something else, yeah. What do you do in your spare time? Do you have some spare time? You sound like you're pretty busy.
I love my work. That is, I find my work is almost recreation. I do love the outdoors. I'm a avid bird hunter. Enjoy wild turkey, waterfowl.
See the turkey on the wall.
Hunting.
Yeah.
Deer hunting with hounds is big in this area. Used to love that when I was younger, but I don't participate in that as much as I once did. We are blessed that the Chesapeake Bay is very nearby. I used to have a sailboat, enjoy sailing, enjoy the water. Go to my alma mater, JMU, James Madison University, and watch their football program, which won the national championship for used to be AA ball. It's playoff conference series football now.
Right. It's big, isn't it, college football here in the States?
It is.
It's massive, isn't it? Yeah.
Enjoy it much more than I do pro ball.
Yeah.
And this is American football, of course, not soccer. We call it soccer.
That's right, yeah. What inspires you? You know, what gets you out of bed in the morning? I mean, you love your business, but, you know, what really inspires you?
I enjoy to see the benefits that we can have on the land. I love wildlife, whether it be the CRP or understory burning on the forest land, the things that we do that I can see an impact when benefiting wildlife. I love doing that. Like to see people enjoy themselves. I get some satisfaction and gratification to watch these. I don't ride horses, but to watch these people enjoy themselves. I love my church. Some of the local charities and nonprofits. We have a local private school that I attended, Tidewater Academy. We have a local 4-H center, and being able to help these organizations and lend my time and make donations to those is fulfilling to me.
Gives you a lot of joy.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think, and if you look back, has been perhaps one of your greatest disappointments that you might have learned something from?
I have to think.
It's not an easy question. Yeah.
I would say I think age certainly brings wisdom, and the good Lord has blessed me to reach 54 years of age. I look back on how I allocated my time when I was younger. Had I been wise enough to allocate my time better, I would have accomplished more. I enjoy my work, enjoy my time outdoors. Don't know if that's anything. You can't control people. If my family, my daughter or nieces and nephews would enjoy or have the appreciation for the land as much as I do, that would be that would be a joy. That could still happen, but
they might get there.
They may get there. That's right. When I was their age, I was living in the city in banking, and so I made the change later in life. And
is that right? You say you've come through the banking sector?
I have. After college, I majored in business administration and went into investment banking. Back in that day, we called ourselves stockbrokers.
Right.
I don't know that term is hardly used now, but in my younger days, I enjoyed living in the city. I guess kids are more social and running around and having a big time socially was more important to me at that stage of my life. After having a child and maturing, it's a different pace of life here. It's slower than city life, and that was unappealing when I was young, and now it's very appealing.
Yeah, and you're part of the local community. You've got roots here. You've got strong roots here.
And that I'm glad you mentioned that. That one of the joys of living in a small town. Everybody knows your name. You walk in a local store, local restaurant, people recognize you. People call you by name, ask you how you're doing. You share what's going on in your life, find out what's going on in theirs. Makes grocery shopping a little longer because you have to
got to talk to everybody.
That's right. But
old Mrs. Smith and old Mr. Jones, and find out how they're going. And
that's right. But it is I'd say a true blessing.
It's a rich life.
It is. It is.
Yeah. Well, perhaps the kids will come back to it. And once they've had, like you, the taste of the city life, perhaps in time they'll look back to the opportunity they've got back to come back to the community, and they'll do that.
Well, I hope so, or at least take enough interest to keep an eye on what's going on here. You don't have to live here full time to at least be aware of what's going on with the business.
Yeah. What about the future? I mean, what broader hopes do you have for the future?
I would like to see us be able to to increase the size of the business, grow the business. And by that, not only do I mean revenue, but the land holdings. It's more difficult to have a respectable return on investment on land purchases now. That's with farm commodity prices, which is reflected in farm rent, timber prices. But hopefully, if and when the housing market improves here in this country, we'll see some improvement in the stumpage price for timber that's sold.
The sawn timber in particular.
Correct. That would be one of my hopes. As I mentioned earlier, having the children enjoy and appreciate it. I've got one nephew who's fairly young. He's about 12 years old. And I remember I was very fortunate that the way that I gained appreciation for the land is my father took me out. Even though he wasn't a hunter, he took me out hunting because I loved it. And so if you take a kid out and just let them have fun, they establish that desire and that love for...
they fall in love with it.
They do.
Yeah.
They do. If you take them out and tell them they got to learn something, they rebel.
That's right.
It took me a while to learn that, but I can see it quite clearly now. But I would say the future objectives would be that, and as the generations progress, to be able to provide enough revenue as it's diluted per owner in future generations, to allow each owner to have enough revenue, income from the business to allow them to justify retaining this investment as opposed to selling it and having it go into something else.
Splitting it up or whatever. Yeah.
Correct. Or into housing development, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And we have had a philosophy here that anytime we sell land, whether it be for housing or regardless of the buyer of the land, we take the proceeds from that sale and reinvest it into more land, and like to say we at least double the acres on that exchange.
Right. And more forest land in the process.
Correct.
Yeah. What do you worry about? I mean, we've sort of talked about that a little bit, but you're looking to the future. There's a lot of tension in the world at the moment, it seems to me. When you hear about what's going on in politics and people worrying about where the world's going. What do you worry about when you come to work and see what's happening in the world?
Well, I told you about the blessings of a small town. Maybe one of the negatives is that we're a little bit like an ostrich with our head stuck in the sand out here. We don't see the cutting edge of things like people in urban areas. I'd say they're more progressive than we are here in a rural community. But we do feel like that with globalization of world markets, we are competing against resources, the harvesting of resources, and the sustainable harvesting of resources all over the world. I feel like in some climates that can grow timber much quicker or crops have a longer growing season, we certainly have an uphill battle with that. Some of the regulations that the government puts on us that increase our cost is certainly an obstacle. And if we can have fair trade, I'll call it, on a global market, I feel like that the utilization of our resources here domestically is not the future of our business. I think we have to export. We've got 2 mills locally here. One produces baby diaper fluff pulp.
Yes.
I think it's utilized primarily in diapers.
Right.
Another one is a company that produces wood pellets for fuel. They're both sent to the port in Norfolk or Portsmouth, which is one of the largest ports in the world. And we're blessed that we're that near a port. If it wasn't for that, then I think this wood basket in this area would be more in jeopardy. But because of that export component, I think we can compete. I hope we can.
Can keep going. Second last question. Tell me about your feeling for the forest. I mean, you go out there hunting and, the assumption I think is that the landowners down here see the forest as just a resource, just wood out there that you can chop down and send to market, make money out of it. But what I understand is really there's a different feeling about the forest. It's not just a resource that you can make money out of. There's a lot more passion for the forest. I mean, you've had these forest lands in your family for a long time. What does the forest mean to you?
It means a great deal. I've got a friend that I wild turkey hunt with, and he accuses me of naming some of the trees. But I do enjoy walking through the forest, especially one that has mature timber. I guess majestic is the best way to describe it. That's I find it is almost majestic to walk through a old growth forest that has huge diameter trees. I think it puts our short time on this earth in perspective. These trees have been out there far longer than any of us have been alive. I appreciate that. I think a lot of the sentiments of landowners in this area differ by the type of landowner. We have TMOs, Timber Management Investment Organizations. I think I have that acronym right.
Yeah.
I think they're much more business oriented, and they practice sustainable forestry. They are great about reforesting, harvesting in a very environmentally friendly way. But as far as the emotional side, a lot of the families who have been here for generations, some of them just don't even harvest timber because they do enjoy the walking through those woods. Fact that their grandfather walked through the same forest, perhaps saw some of the same trees.
Yeah, it's a connection.
Yeah, it is, and that perhaps is starting to dwindle as the younger generations are moving out of the area and going to urban areas where employment is more readily available.
Yeah, it's easier.
Yeah.
Okay, so what about when the day comes when you finally hang up your boots and step aside from the business, you can relax a bit more? What do you think you'll do?
Well, I'm blessed that in the last 2 years here, we've got a forester who is a forester by trade, as I am not, and he is doing a fantastic job. And hopefully one day I'll, as you say, I'll kick back and he'll do everything that I'm doing. When I do that, I would enjoy traveling some, especially to other areas of the world. I enjoy seeing more rural things. I guess in this country, I've been to the Grand Canyon, but that's a good example.
Spend some time traveling with the family, with your wife.
The family.
Yeah.
That would be great. Going on some hunting trips to different areas, spending more time on the water, perhaps even getting a sailboat again. I owned a sailboat back in my banking days, but I no longer have one. And then being more actively involved in some of these nonprofits in the area that I mentioned, church,
the community groups, and things.
Community, correct.
Well, good on you. Well, listen, thanks very much for talking to me today. Found it really interesting. I'd love to go and visit one of your forests at some point. I don't know if we've got the time to do that today, but I'll be back and maybe go and have a walk in that forest with you sometime.
Okay. Well, thank you, Scott, and enjoy talking to you.
You've been listening to Phil Bain, Appreciating the Land. Do listen to the other 10 podcasts in this Enviva Forest Industry People series. I'm Scott Poynton. Thanks for listening.